The other allegation they backed away from, which is huge, it shows the weakening of the case. Previously, the prosecution had alleged that Durk paid the bounty for the through one of his co-defendants, and they named the co-defendant. Now they've backed off that allegation. They're not actually saying that Durk paid the bounty through the co-defendant or anyone else. And the fact that they're not saying that suggests that previously they thought they were going to be able to prove that he paid the bounty through this guy, and now they know we're not going to be able to prove that he paid the bounty through this guy.
Hold up. Stop scrolling, because this one's wild. Lil Durk just walked out of court like he was leaving the Grammys instead of a courtroom. The case dropped. The judge stunned. The fans screaming, "Durkio the Miracle Man." This wasn't a regular verdict. This was a plot twist straight out of a Netflix legal thriller. The prosecution looked like they just lost Wi-Fi mid-trial, while Durk strolled off smoother than Drake after a diss track win. Social media, meltdown mode, hashtags flying faster than a Nicki and Cardi beef. Durk free, justice served. He beat the system, all trending in minutes. Twitter lawyers are out here debating like it's the Supreme Court, and TikTok's already choreographed a Durk walks free dance challenge. And let's be real, this makes every other celebrity scandal look like child's play. The Kardashians could never. The courtroom turned into the hottest stage in America. And Durk, he didn't just win, he performed. But the million-dollar question remains. How did this man turn a near-impossible case into a standing ovation moment? Leaked footage, vanishing witnesses, and one judge who looked ready to faint. Something doesn't add up. Because when Lil Durk walks free, somebody else pays the price. When Lil Durk walked out of that courthouse, it wasn't just freedom. It was a full-blown cultural earthquake. You could feel it ripple from Chicago's South Side all the way to Twitter timelines in Tokyo. The man didn't just win his case, he obliterated it. One minute, the prosecution's grinning like they're about to bag a trophy, and the next, boom, case dropped, judge baffled. Reporters chasing their microphones like they were trying to catch falling stock prices. The headlines hit the internet like a tidal wave. Lil Durk walks free. Case dismissed in shock ruling. Within seconds, every gossip page, rap blog, and drama channel was frothing at the mouth. TMZ called it unprecedented. The Shade Room called it divine timing. And Twitter turned into a digital war zone. Fans declared it a W for the culture, while critics swore something smelled funny. Everyone had a theory. Aliens, bribery, divine intervention, or maybe just Durk's lawyer having the legal IQ of Tony Stark. But to understand why this shook the internet to its core, you gotta rewind the tape. The case against Lil Durk wasn't just another headline. It was one of those long, drawn-out sagas that made you forget what year it even started. Prosecutors built it like a Netflix limited series, complete with exclusive footage, key witnesses, and a shocking timeline. From the outside, it looked airtight. Surveillance clips, testimony, rumors of retaliation. They threw everything at him but the Grammy he deserved. The media ate it up, of course. Durk was painted as hip-hop's favorite anti-hero. 1 foot in the booth, 1 foot in the courtroom. Every court appearance felt like a concert. Cameras flashing, reporters shouting, fans lining up outside like it was Rolling Loud. Free Durkio! He innocent! The voice can't be silenced! The courtroom turned into an arena, and even the judge looked like he was one. Dramatic pause away from signing a Netflix deal, but then came the first twist. The prosecution's star witness suddenly went missing. Poof, gone, like a Snapchat story. One day they were ready to testify, the next, radio silence. No social media, no press, no trace. Conspiracy theorists went full throttle. Was it witness intimidation? Did the witness get paid off? Did they suddenly discover the concept of vacation with no extradition? Nobody knew, and that mystery cracked the case wide open. The second twist, a leaked document. Some supposed court file that floated online like a ghost in the machine. It hinted that key evidence had been mishandled, possibly tampered with. And once that hit the blogs, boom, credibility out the window. Legal analysts started side-eyeing the case like it was a bad Tinder match. The prosecution looked like amateurs, and Durk's defense team pounced on it like wolves. Suddenly, the confident prosecutors were stumbling. Every argument they made, Durk's lawyers tore apart with surgical precision. Witness testimonies didn't align, timestamps didn't match, and even the alleged surveillance footage, which everyone said would seal the deal, turned out blurrier than a Bigfoot sighting. It was like watching a chess match where one player didn't realize they were already in checkmate. Durk himself, calm, collected, dressed like freedom was already in his pocket. While the prosecution sweated through their arguments, he sat there with that quiet smirk that says, "I already know how this ends." At one point, fans claim the judge even looked amused, like even he couldn't believe how sloppy things had gotten. When court adjourned that final day, the energy in the room was tense enough to power a city. The judge took a long pause before speaking, one of those dramatic silences that feels like it lasts a lifetime. Cameras zoomed in, reporters leaned forward, fans held their breath. Then, in a tone so casual it could have been mistaken for small talk, the judge said the words that detonated the internet. "The case is dismissed." You could have heard a pin drop. Then, pandemonium. People gasped, shouted, cried. Someone in the gallery reportedly yelled, "Durk beat the system!" before security escorted them out. The prosecutors looked like they just got hit by a plot twist they didn't read in the script. Outside the courtroom, the scene was pure mayhem. Fans screamed, "The voice is free!" like it was a national holiday. Cameras swarmed Durk as he stepped out. Calm, unfazed, hoodie up, not a single word spoken. The man didn't need to speak. His silence was the speech. Within an hour, the video of him leaving the courthouse hit 1 million views. In 6 hours, 10 million. By the end of the day, every corner of the internet had turned into Durk's victory parade. Memes exploded faster than the stock market after a tweet from Elon Musk. One meme showed Durk walking out of court with angel wings and the caption, "When God's your lawyer, the judge just nods." Another said, "Prosecutors folded faster than laundry on laundry day." But it wasn't just fans losing their minds. Celebrities chimed in too. Meek Mill tweeted, "Real ones always find a way out." Drake posted a cryptic emoji combo, scales of justice and a dove, and instantly set the internet ablaze. Even Kanye reposted a clip with the caption, "The system tried to silence the voice, but God turned up the mic." Within hours, this case wasn't just a legal victory, it was a movement. Still, not everyone was cheering. Industry insiders whispered that something felt off. Some legal experts said the case shouldn't have collapsed that easily. Others hinted that certain evidence conveniently disappeared at the right time. One gossip blogger claimed to have inside info that someone high up pulled strings. Another swore that Durk's team had evidence the prosecution didn't want the public to see. Whatever the truth was, the optics were wild. You had fans dancing in the streets, lawyers ducking interviews, and conspiracy threads unraveling faster than a Marvel fan theory. It was chaos. Beautiful, meme-worthy chaos. Durk's reaction. A single Instagram post. A photo of him walking out of court, hands clasped together, captioned with one word, "Free." That was it. No explanation, no hashtags, no flexing, just free. That post alone broke records. Celebrities flooded the comments with emojis, and fans turned it into a slogan. People printed "free" on hoodies, posters, and even tattoos. In 24 hours, it wasn't just a word, it was an anthem. Meanwhile, the legal world scrambled for answers. Reporters camped outside the courthouse hoping for interviews. Legal analysts dissected every second of the trial like they were decoding the Da Vinci Code. And fans? They didn't care. As far as the streets were concerned, justice had been served, even if nobody could explain exactly how. By the time the sun set that day, one thing was crystal clear. Lil Durk didn't just walk out of court. He walked into history. The man who'd been written off, doubted, and dragged through the mud had turned the tables in front of the entire world. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was a masterclass in patience, power, and poetic justice. And if you thought that was wild, just wait. Because the real madness wasn't the verdict. It was what happened after. The memes, the celebrity reactions, the rival shade, and the industry's sudden silence. That's when the story stopped being about freedom and started being about fear. The moment Lil Durk's case was dropped, the internet turned into the world's biggest courtroom. Every social media platform became a law firm, except nobody had a degree and everyone had an opinion. Twitter threads turned into legal dissertations. TikTok creators were explaining reasonable doubt with PowerPoint slides. And YouTube was flooded with real lawyers react videos that all ended with the same expression: disbelief. But let's be honest, this wasn't just a legal story anymore. This was a cultural event. A rapper walking free after being buried under years of headlines and court filings. That's not just news, that's legendary. Durk didn't just dodge charges, he broke out of the narrative that's haunted hip-hop for decades. Rappers trapped by the very system they rap about. He went from might get locked up to might drop the album of the decade. Fans started calling it the Great Escape. Memes compared Durk's lawyer to Harvey Specter from Suits, and one viral post said Durk didn't hire a lawyer, he hired a sorcerer. The whole situation had that surreal, cinematic energy, like a courtroom version of Avengers Endgame, except instead of Thanos snapping. And the reactions, oh, they were priceless. The culture erupted like a volcano with Wi-Fi. Rappers from all sides of the industry weighed in. Meek Mill went live saying, "They tried to box him in, but Durk ain't built for cages." Lil Baby tweeted, "The streets got their voice back." Even DJ Khaled chimed in with the usual over-the-top sermon. God did, and fans, well, they took that and ran wild with it. Suddenly, God Did was trending alongside Durk Free, with people remixing gospel songs into trap beats. You can't make this stuff up. But while fans celebrated, the industry was shook. Behind the smiles and tweets, record executives were sweating in their penthouses. They knew what this meant. Lil Durk's return wasn't just symbolic. It was financial, it was powerful, and it was dangerous. The man had turned a courtroom win into a brand relaunch. It wasn't case closed, it was career reloaded. Streaming numbers skyrocketed. Old songs like The Voice, All My Life, and Laugh Now, Cry Later started charting again. Spotify reported a 300% spike in Durk's catalog streams in 24 hours. His YouTube views tripled. His merch sold out. Even brands that had quietly ghosted him during the trial were now crawling back with "We Stand With Durk" campaigns. One sneaker company reportedly offered him a 7-figure collaboration deal the same week. But as always, with fame comes fury. Critics came out swinging, claiming the verdict was a mockery of justice. One journalist wrote, "If Lil Durk wasn't a millionaire rapper, he'd still be behind bars." That article got dragged so hard online it was deleted within hours. But it didn't matter. The sentiment was spreading. People started wondering, how did the case just vanish like that? Rumors started swirling. Some claimed the key witness had been paid off. Others said the judge was pressured. And then came the conspiracy bomb, a leaked voice note allegedly, from someone close to the case suggesting that certain files disappeared from the evidence database. Overnight, it was chaos. True or not, the internet doesn't wait for proof. It just needs vibes. And the vibe was scandal. The wildest part? Durk didn't say a word. Not a single interview, not a single tweet, just that same stoic silence that somehow made everything louder. The man understood something most celebrities never do. Mystery is the ultimate marketing strategy. Every moment of silence from Durk felt like a teaser trailer. Every photo of him walking out in designer gear became a meme, a mood, a message. I won. You guess how. Meanwhile, rival rappers couldn't help but sneak in a few subliminals. One tweeted, "Some of y'all out here beating cases like you'll beat verses, with help." Fans immediately flooded the comments with laughing emojis and snake emojis, tagging Durk's name like they were reporting to the drama police. A few even started fake beef rumors, saying Durk's freedom was making other rappers nervous. And then, in true internet fashion, the theories went nuclear. TikTok users claimed they spotted a mystery figure leaving the courthouse minutes before the dismissal. Reddit detectives went on deep dives connecting random lawyers to record label execs. One post even suggested that Durk's team had compromising footage on a key official. It was so wild. Even Law and Order, SVU couldn't write it better. But here's where the story really flipped. Durk's silence turned into strategy. Days after his release, he posted a single teaser video on Instagram. Him in the studio, dim lighting, no caption, just a faint snippet of unreleased music playing in the background. The lyric that stood out, "They tried to end my story, but the pen's still mine." Fans went feral. That one line became a rally cry. Hashtags like Durk the Phoenix, Case Dismissed, and The Voice Returns dominated every platform. The energy was insane. Influencers started doing Durk-style freestyles. Clubs were blasting his tracks like it was New Year's Eve. The man had turned a courtroom win into the biggest PR comeback since Britney Spears took back her freedom. But while fans were partying, the tension behind the scenes kept brewing. Sources close to the case began whispering that not everyone in Durk's circle was happy. Apparently, the sudden dismissal caught even some of his team off guard, as if it happened too easily. One insider reportedly said, This win feels clean, but the air around it don't. It was cryptic, but fans ate it up. Suddenly the narrative started shifting, from Durk beat the system to did Durk make a deal? Bloggers pounced. YouTubers uploaded 10-minute breakdowns with titles like The Hidden Truth Behind Lil Durk's Case, The Leaked Evidence They Don't Want You to See. Within hours, the speculation spread like wildfire. People started connecting dots that weren't even on the same page. Even other artists got dragged into it. Someone claimed a rival rapper had snitched. Another claimed the missing witness was living overseas with hush money. By the time TMZ fact-checked anything, the internet had already built a full cinematic universe around the rumor. Still, through it all, Durk remained untouchable. No rants, no clapbacks, no petty posts. Just focus. The man was clearly plotting, not revenge, not drama, domination. Because that's the thing about Lil Durk. Every time people count him out, he finds a way to flip the narrative. He's not playing checkers. He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is still arguing about the rules. And when his PR team finally released a short statement, it was simple but savage. The case has been dismissed. The truth has spoken. The rest is noise. That one line sent shockwaves through the internet again. Fans turned "the rest is noise" into a quote, printing it on hoodies and captions. Even rival rappers couldn't deny it. Durk had just redefined what victory looked like in hip-hop. But as the memes rolled, the lawyers speculated and the blogs fought for clicks. One question started echoing louder than ever. Was this really the end, or just the beginning of something way bigger? Because behind every courtroom victory in hip-hop, there's always a storm brewing, a storm that can flip celebration into scandal in a heartbeat. And judging by how fast the culture was spinning, Lil Durk's freedom wasn't the finale. It was the opening act. The cameras had gone home. The courthouse steps were empty, but the whispers, they were just getting louder. After the confetti settled and the headlines cooled, you'd think Lil Durk's story would finally fade into that feel-good ending zone. Hero beats the system, cue dramatic music, roll credits. But this isn't Disney. This is hip-hop, where peace is just the quiet moment before another explosion. And Durk, he didn't just walk free. He walked straight into a brand new era of power, paranoia, and poetic revenge. The first 72 hours after his release felt like the second coming of rap royalty. The internet crowned him the voice reborn. Clubs were packed wall to wall, spinning nothing but Durk tracks. DJs were yelling, "He beat the case," over every bass drop like it was gospel. Fans were crying, laughing, and breaking into spontaneous mosh pits of joy. One girl on TikTok literally tattooed "Case Dismissed" across her collarbone. And the comments, "That's dedication. Nah, that's delusion." But the real game began behind closed doors. Inside the industry, everyone suddenly wanted a piece of Durk. Producers, brands, media houses, all those who ghosted him during the trial were now back with fake smiles and "we always believed in you" energy. You could practically smell the desperation through the emails. One insider leaked that 3 different record labels tried to renegotiate deals with him within 48 hours. That's not faith. That's FOMO with a business plan. Still, Durk played it cool. He wasn't rushing to talk, tweet, or tour. He moved like a man who'd seen the other side and came back wiser and way more dangerous. He knew silence was, and then, boom, he finally spoke. Not in an interview, not on Instagram Live, through his art. He dropped a single out of nowhere titled "Freedom Ain't Free." The cover art? A courtroom gavel wrapped in gold chains. The lyrics? Pure venom and victory. He rapped, "They wanted bars. I gave them quotes. They wanted me caged. I gave them hope. The system blind. But God took notes." Social media lost its mind. Critics called it the most defiant comeback track since Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares. Fans said it sounded like a victory speech mixed with a warning. Within hours, it hit #1 on every chart, breaking streaming records like glass ceilings. But with the fame came the shadows. Not everyone was celebrating. Certain blogs started hinting that old enemies weren't happy about his freedom. Some claimed people connected to the original case were moving nervous. A few wild theories even said a retaliation was in the works. It felt like a storm was brewing, the kind that doesn't care about trending hashtags. Durk didn't flinch. Instead, he went all in, booking massive studio sessions, expanding his label, and surrounding himself with a tighter inner circle. Word on the street was that he'd turned down a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal just because the company hesitated during his trial. That's not business. That's revenge in a three-piece suit. Still, the aura around him was different. The energy, the tone. He wasn't just rapping anymore. He was testifying. The man had lived through a public crucifixion and came out wearing the crown. Every lyric dripped with survivor's confidence. Every bar hit like a legal declaration. And yet, even as he rose, controversy clung to him like smoke. A leaked email from an anonymous official suggested that the case's collapse was being internally reviewed. In simpler terms, someone in the system wanted to reopen the file. The media pounced. Could Durk's case return? Was the dismissal too sudden? Is freedom just temporary? These headlines flooded the feeds, feeding public paranoia, but Durk didn't blink. He posted a photo of himself in the studio, captioned, "You can't reopen what God already closed." That line alone became legend. It was printed on shirts, hoodies, even tattoos. He'd turned courtroom trauma into cultural poetry. By now, even people who didn't listen to rap were talking about him. News anchors debated him, pundits analyzed him, college professors used his case in sociology lectures. He wasn't just a rapper anymore, he was a symbol. The man who beat the system, silenced the critics, and did it all with composure that made saints look emotional. But beneath the celebration was something haunting, a sense that Durk's freedom came with a price. Friends said he'd become quieter, more guarded. He barely smiled in interviews. He kept his circle microscopic. Fame had freed him, but it had also painted a massive target on his back. Everyone wanted a piece: the press, the fans, the haters, the labels, even the law. Still, he played the long game. Instead of hiding, he doubled down on success. He launched his own foundation for youth in Chicago, reportedly helping kids caught in the same system that almost took him down. The irony was beautiful. The man the system tried to destroy was now fixing what they broke. It was redemption, poetic and raw. But just as things seemed calm, one final twist dropped like a thunderclap. A leaked video surfaced, unseen footage from the courtroom that allegedly showed the judge smiling moments before reading the verdict. The internet went ballistic. Was the judge biased? Was this planned? Did Durk know something we didn't? Everyone wanted answers. Durk, still silent, and that silence was deafening. By now, the narrative had evolved beyond law, fame, or music. Lil Durk had become mythology. His story wasn't about a man escaping jail. It was about a man redefining power. The courtroom wasn't his downfall. It was his stage. The verdict wasn't luck. It was legacy. In the end, as fans replayed his freedom footage for the 1,000th time, one thing became crystal clear. Lil Durk didn't just walk out of court a free man. He walked out as a symbol of survival, strategy, and unstoppable resilience. Because in a world that loves watching black men fall, Durk did the unthinkable. He fell, stood up, adjusted his chain, and walked away, untouchable. And somewhere out there in some boardroom or back office, the people who once thought they had him cornered are probably still staring at their screens, wondering how one man turned the system's trap into his throne. Freedom wasn't the ending. It was just the start of The Voice 2.0. And this time, the world's not ready for the sound he's about to drop. And just like that, the story that started as a courtroom cliffhanger ended with a cultural explosion. Lil Durk didn't just walk free, he walked legendary. The man turned a legal nightmare into a victory anthem that'll echo through hip-hop history forever. From court dates to chart toppers, from accusations to adoration, this was more than freedom. This was rebirth. So before you scroll away like this was just another news update, let's get one thing straight. This is the rap truth, where every scandal, every secret, and every victory gets unpacked. Unfiltered and unapologetically wild. We don't sugarcoat. We serve drama straight, extra sweet, extra spicy, and twice as addictive. Now, if you were screaming "Free Durk" from your couch, then smash that like button like you're slamming the judge's gavel yourself. Drop your hottest take in the comments. Was this pure justice, or just another case of power playing puppeteer behind the scenes? Let's hear your theories. Wild, reckless, or real. We want them all. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.